this is Duncan for VARAC TV, reporting for VARAC in advance of the VARAC Vintage Grand Prix. And I am joined on the set today by Colleen Sanilla and Corey Finkelstein. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Colleen is the head organizer, director of all of the VARAC Vintage Grand Prix. So we're going to be spending some time talking to Colleen about what's coming up and introducing Corey Finkelstein, who's from Zera Insurance, and he is a specialist in vintage cars. And Corey is going to be the quarterback for putting together the next generation of the vintage car show. I'm going to be coming to you in a minute, Corey. So first off, over to you, Colleen. So the VARAC Vintage Grand Prix, it's been going some time now. Before we get into what's happening this year in the Grand Prix, how did you get involved in VARAC and the Vintage Grand Prix?
Well, my husband's a racer, so unfortunately, neither of us can keep our hands down when somebody needs volunteering and needs help. So both of us have been volunteering various aspects over the past 25 years. So I've always supported Ivan in his roles on the board of directors for VARAC, and subsequently they needed somebody to take over the VGP, and here I am.
Good stuff. So the VGP itself is, I think, what's the year number? How many VGPs?
47.
47.
The first one was 1979.
Okay. So that's getting some good vintage heritage going right there.
Yeah.
Colleen, is this how many years have you been doing this role now?
This will be my second year.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, good stuff. So Corey, how have you got involved in cars and vintage and things like that before we come to you about the show?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I've been heavily involved in the hobby of classic cars and enthusiast vehicles since a very young age. And more recently, I guess in the last 10 years now, I've been involved in collector car insurance, both through Haggerty and now through Zera Insurance. Yeah. And so I just figured out a way to kind of make a career out of my hobby as an insurance person that gets to play with cars all the time. So it's been absolutely fantastic. So
nice.
Yeah,
what have you got in the garage then, Corey?
So I have a 1964 Volkswagen Beetle that I bought 36 years ago when I was in university. And I know I'm dating myself a bit, but I'm very proud to have kept it that long and enjoy it every year. It's the one thing I own that, when I turn the key in the spring, takes me right back to 20-year-old Corey. And there's nothing else I have in my life that's like that. So, and then I also have a 51 Ford F1 pickup and a 78 Jaguar XJ6 long wheelbase. So I've got an eclectic collection. Yeah.
That's super. Colleen, what's going on in your garage? Anything? Is it just race cars in there?
Actually, we have a number of cars. I guess my most famous one is a 1927 three-wheel Morgan.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was in 2012 when we were at Goodwood, I saw the reintroduction of the three-wheel Morgan. And at that time, I tried to bribe any politician I knew so I could get one into Canada. And unfortunately, they are not allowed yet. So I got the next best thing was actually it's Jay Leno's sister car that I apparently have. So it's kind of interesting. And then we have my husband's 1970 Lotus 7 Series 4, which is our race car.
Yeah.
And we have a Porsche, and my daily summer driver is a BMW Z3 convertible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you got to have fun. We've got many, many more. We have way too many. I've got 7-car garage, and I still take the snow off my truck every day.
Well, I've got my fun cars are a 1974 MGB GT V8, a factory original. And my other MG is a race car. It's a 1967 MGB GT race car that I bought a few years ago from a racer. Okay, so let's zoom in on the VGP itself, Colleen. So for fans that know it and love it, there'll be special things that are happening this year that are a little bit out of normal, like the Kazna Cup that we'll come to. But before we get into those specifics, if you haven't been to Mosport and the VGP before, what would a new fan expect to see?
Absolutely amazing racing. It's not like NASCAR and the Kastner or the big races with the big V8s and things like that. We do have the V8s. We have 7 groups of cars. There's open wheels, there's Formula 1600s, Formula 1200s. We have Mustangs, MGs, Alphas, everything that range from, I think our oldest car this year is a 1957 Triumph.
Yeah.
And because the Kastner Cup is all Triumph. So we've got a
Yeah.
bunch of guys coming up from the US. It's just fun racing, and you're allowed through the paddocks. You can talk to the racers, you can talk to their crew. It's open, it's inviting. It's just a fabulous weekend to come out and enjoy an incredible amount of cars.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself, Colleen. This year will be my 3rd Vintage Grand Prix. I'm still a relatively new racer,
Yeah.
and I would put the Vintage Grand Prix at the top of the tree in terms of a whole weekend experience. Through the racing, through the fans being there, the fan engagement, and we'll come to the car show in a second. Just to finish off what you were talking about, Colleen, what's different this year? There's a couple of special things going on this year. Could you?
Yeah, so we're hosting the Kastner Cup.
Yep.
It is in their 23rd year. So Kastner started racing at his first race at Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, was in 2003. And Cass, it was infamous for his engine tuning on the Triumph cars. So we're lucky enough to have the Triumphs this year. We have currently 42 cars that are queued up to be racing for the Kastner Cup, which is on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the MG Challenge, which is an annual event where it's the MGs versus the Triumphs. That's always a fun one. And we also have the Porsche Rothmans Cup 40th reunion. So we currently have 8 original cars coming.
Yeah.
And they'll be paddocked and being shown off in the marketplace at CTMP.
Right. Yeah.
So we've got an amazing event, great group of people.
Those Triumph guys are crazy.
Yes.
I met some of those guys last year. It wasn't the Kastner Cup last year. It was just but in the MG Triumph Challenge, there's some really nice Triumphs there. So I think the MGs have got their hands full with all those Triumphs on site.
Yes. Yeah.
So and the Porsche Challenge. I saw some old YouTube video of Porsche, the Porsche racing at Mosport back in the, I'll say, mid-80s or something.
Yeah, they were throughout the 80s.
Yeah, and that was good racing. And
yeah. So that we have the 944s racing in the classics and some in the vintage historic. Yeah. Although the Porsche Rothmans original Cup cars are a bit too valuable to be racing. They will be just on display.
Okay, cool. Okay, talking about on display, Corey, I kind of teed you up to say it's the next gen of the vintage car show. Please take the mic and tell us what's going on with the vintage show.
Sure. Thanks, Duncan. Yeah, so there's always been a really good car show during the VGP, or for the last number of years that I can remember anyhow. And we're sort of just been handed the torch to kind of take it to the next level, I guess you could say. And the idea is to create the atmosphere of Goodwood in Ontario at CTMP. So a mixture of vintage cars, and we'll allow modern collectible vehicles as well. So we're not just saying only vintage are allowed, because we know that there's been modern collectibles that have come in the past, and we don't want to exclude anyone. And then we have a vision of having some vintage campers and RVs and Westphalias. I myself have a 1959 single wheel trailer that I pull behind my 64 Beetle, so that'll be on display. And my partner who's helping, Tom, has got a Soviet era trailer that is from the Soviet Union before the fall of the Soviet Union, that he pairs behind his Skoda. He's got an 88 Skoda. So there's some eclectic stuff there. And, over the years, there's always been some really, I've seen Eleganzas, GM Eleganzas and other vehicles that come just as part of race support vehicles. So we thought, why don't we expand that?
Yeah.
So it's really a mix of vintage cars, vintage RVs and campers, and vintage motorcycles as well. We're competing apparently with the big the CVMG has a big weekend at the same time, but we know there'll be some motorcycles that won't go to that event and will come to ours. As well as I don't know how far we'll get this year, but pedal cars are welcome, and we encourage parents and their kids to come with their vintage pedal cars, and we'll get to a point where we'll do a pedal car race. If we can't make it this year, it'll be next year for sure, depending on the number of pedal cars that we have come out. So, but the key thing about the event is that you must, or should, I should say, not must, but should come dressed period correct to the period of your vehicle. So whether that's 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, and earlier, come in your period garb, and there will be awards given for the best pairing of vehicle and costume. So that's an important part of the event as well. And of course, anyone who comes to the car show can see the vintage racing. Their pass into CTMP gets them to enjoy all the racing for the day. They can wander the paddocks, the marketplace, and sort of have the whole festival experience within the confines of the park, and really enjoy that sort of Goodwood atmosphere, but not having to go to England to do that.
Yeah, that sounds excellent. Two things, a couple of takeaways from what you said there, Corey. The pedal cars, that's sometimes the most memorable thing of what you see on YouTube when you're watching Goodwood. So if we can see those pedal cars coming forward, that will be hilarious.
It would be wonderful. Yeah, I know the Goodwood pedal cars are all sort of the same make and model, which is really interesting. But we here in Ontario, anything goes, whatever pedal car you have. There are some collectors out there that have some amazing stuff, and we'd love to see some of that out.
So if some of those Triumphs don't start, could they enter the pedal car competition?
Spoken like
Well,
a
no,
red
I don't know if they'd like to hear that.
So, Colleen, I know Corey's mentioned about some period dress in terms of in the context of the car show, but you're wanting to extend it into the evenings of the.
Well, yes. So we have Kiss the Moose band playing on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings. So the Thursday is the 50s and 60s. So the music for the evening will not only go with the same era as what everybody's dressing as. Friday will be the 70s and 80s, and Saturday was looking kind of like the 90s, 80s and 90s, but we'll take anything over the past couple of days. If you come dressed up, we're good.
Excellent. I've been preparing my outfits already.
Perfect.
So yes, I think if we can, I think overall from this aspect of the weekend, you touched on it already, Corey, about bringing a flavour of Goodwood into the weekend. Goodwood, particularly the revival, it started somewhere. It was roots like this that it started at. So,
That's right.
and I kind of thought, I think this is a fantastic initiative and a great idea, because we're racing vintage cars, but the vintage cars end up just being a tool to race with, unless you can drag the vintage element of it and amp up the fact that this is a vintage era kind of racing that's going on. So if we can take the vintage just beyond the race cars themselves and bring it into the people, into the fans, into the paddock, into the show, I think we're doing a great thing.
Yeah, going to be a great weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm also
I was going to point out too that we already know we have some great support from some of the car clubs in the community. So the Austin Healey Club, the Aston Martin Club, the Triumph Club, and we'll probably have some members of the MG Club as well. We're working on getting OJOA out there as well. So we'll have a good mix of cars with some good showings, where there'll be a strong showing of support from those clubs. So
then we've got Alfa Romeo as well, haven't we? Did I hear that?
Alfa Romeo, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be exciting. Colleen, I want to come back to you for a minute, because another little thing that we're doing this year, we're trying to encourage fan engagement with the race teams, and we want to do that in a family-oriented way.
Yeah.
So tell us about those player cards, the hero cards.
Well, they were your idea. So ultimately, it is your fault that I have been working on it day in and day out for the past 3 weeks. So every racer that's been entered has a player card. So on the front or back, whichever you're looking at, we have specs of their cars. So it's the year of the car, top speed, horsepower, RPM, engine CC, cylinders, and weight.
Yeah.
And on the front of the car, we'll have the driver information, the owner of the car, their hometown, their favorite racetrack,
Yeah.
year they started racing, and their race hero. So it's been really interesting for me to actually do all of these and design them and get them to print. They go to print Monday morning.
Yeah.
I've had quite a good response from all of our racers. They're very excited about them. So all the kids that are coming through the gate, they'll get the instruction sheet at the gate with their family when they come through. And then they are to be encouraged to go through the paddock and go to all the different racers and ask for a card.
Yeah.
And you know more about the actual game itself with the instruction.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, first of all, Colleen, thanks for putting this together. I know we've got some sponsorship involved as well. I just think it's a great initiative, and I'm enthusiastic about it because I'm a kid.
Yes.
And what you're doing there, Colleen, takes me right back to my childhood with at the time in the UK, they were called Top Trumps. And there's other brands around. Top Trumps evolved out of Germany, I found out. And the hero cards, it can be across anything. I've still got some somewhere. Steam engines, rocket ships, and racing cars. And these are late 70s F1, F2, Formula Ford. And they're called hero cards or Top Trumps. But because there's stats on them, it means that we as a three could be playing it where you've got the top card in your pack and you decide which is the best stat from the card that you've got. And some of them aren't very good. So some of them you're really struggling to nail a stat. But you'll say, okay, 4 cylinders. And then Corey would say, okay, mine has 6 cylinders. And Colleen would say, oh, mine has 8 cylinders. That means Colleen wins the hand and we have to hand our cards over to Colleen. She puts them at the back and then Colleen calls out the next one. So the leveling of the playing field is, you think that the older the car gets, the less chance it has of winning. But if you make it so that the older the car, the better in terms of the stat, it means that the older cars with smaller engines and not quite as good horsepower and top speed, the old car can still win by using the age of the car as the stat. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I played a ton of that as a kid, particularly on camping holidays and things like that. And it's obviously pre-technology and things. But yeah, I'm being taken back to my childhood. And it comes a full circle when I'm going to be on one of the cards. It's so exciting.
There you go. And we have to thank FAF Auto Works.
Right.
They're supporting our Porsche Rothmans Cup reunion.
Yeah.
And they've been our full sponsor for the cards themselves. So
That's
all
excellent.
the racers are going to have 100 or so to give away. It's going to be a great thing for the kids.
Honestly, Colleen, if I come across a little child with a family and that child is not collecting the cards, I'm going to be giving them $20 to go around the paddock and collect cards
and chase them down for you.
Well, with the Vintage Grand Prix only a few weeks away, how far away is it, Colleen?
I'm getting nervous. Trust me, I'm getting nervous.
It's getting closer. For me as a racer, I'm racing at the Circuit de Mont-Tremblant, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
And then it's all guns blazing, prepping for getting down to CTMP. So I can't wait to get there, Colleen and Corey. It's going to be exciting.
And we have fireworks Saturday night.
Oh, we do.
Fantastic. We do. Yeah.
Well, that's about all we've got time for the show. To Colleen and Corey, thank you very much for joining. My apologies to Tamer. It was the arrangements for the timing was off, and it was totally my fault. And we missed Tamer, who's hosting Mini Meets North at the show. So it's another element of the weekend, which is fantastic, having all those vintage minis hanging out for the weekend and camping and that kind of thing. So I look forward to seeing seeing Tamer Tamer is also hosting movie night on the Saturday. So he puts up a big screen and chooses a movie that he hasn't seen in a few years and puts it on a big screen for the camp chairs and stuff. So that'll be nice. Cool. And another element to what promises to be a great weekend. So Corey and Colleen, thank you very much for joining. I look forward to seeing you in Bowmanville in a few weeks.
Thanks for
Duncan.
your time, Duncan. Take care.
This is Duncan for VARAC TV. Back to the studio.